Nuggets versus the Clippers. Drew has the Nuggets in 6. And this is one of those series where you're kind of wrestling with the fact that maybe one team might be better, but this other team has the best player in the world, in Nikola Jokic. Where do you stand on this, John? Are you going with the Nuggets? Are you going with the homer pick? Are you going with Jokic?
I'm going with Denver in this matchup. And I will say that the Clippers are the best team and one of the toughest matchups the Nuggets could face. And in this specific series, they are the better team. And we talked about a little bit earlier, Ivica Zubac is not only having a breakout year, most improved player candidate, but he's one of the few matchups in the NBA that can defend Jokic well enough one-on-one where the Clippers can leave them on an island and then put all of their eggs on limiting Jamal Murray, who, for a second year in a row, has had a hamstring issue in the regular season, which could potentially into the playoffs. And now you're going to have Derek Jones Jr. and Chris Dunn running around for 48 minutes, giving him as much hell as possible. The way last year we saw Jaden McDaniels neutralize him. So I believe that Jamal Murray might struggle quite a bit in the series. What it comes down to for me is, number one, I think Nikola Jokic is going to have to raise his level of play as a scorer, and we've seen that last year against Rudy Gobert, a 4-time Defensive Player of the Year. He was getting to his spots with ease. And I think, quite honestly, it almost doesn't matter who you put on Jokic because he's going to continue to generate good open looks. The biggest X factor to me is going to be Christian Brown. I think what he's going to do on James Harden defensively is what gives the Nuggets, to me, a comfort level because it's going to be a matter of James Harden making enough 2-point shots inside the arc, and I believe that Christian Brown has the size, he has the length, and he has the aggressiveness to really contain him and put him in a box. Harden's going to have some blow-up games. He's going to have some games where he probably hits 7 threes, has 28 points and great efficiency with 7 assists. But I think in those off nights, they're going to see Jokic take control, and there's a level of comfort I have with the Nuggets getting whatever look they want with those 5 guys out there. But while the Brown and Westbrook matchup's a big variable in this series, I think what the Nuggets can't allow to happen is their bench has been bad this year. They need Russell Westbrook to be solid and serviceable off the bench. If Russ is coming and spelling Jokic and struggling, that is where my confidence quickly fades with this Nuggets group. If they get Russ and Jerome Strother to play fine, just serviceable, -4 point differential opposed to -8 without Jokic on the floor, I think the Nuggets win. But this is one of the closest series. This is the series I struggle with most because the Clippers are the better team. And when you look, from 1 to 7, it's very few matchups the Nuggets have over them. But I also think, too, you sleep on Aaron Gordon now, but he's going to be a very important player in this series.
I think with the Nuggets, the selling point is they have Jokic, and I think after that, a lot of the points become moot. I think that Christian Brown, yes, he will be a good defender on James Harden. He's an awesome defender. There's no doubt about it. But looking at how the Clippers run their offense, they're first in isolation points, first in isolation frequency. They're one of the most frequent pick-and-roll offenses as well with James Harden. I have more of a comfort level with the Clippers' defense holding Denver's offense than Denver's defense holding the Clippers' offense.
Right.
Because Christian Brown, one-on-one, sure, he can have great isolated possessions on James Harden. But what happens when 7-footer Zubac is setting a screen on him and knocking him down, and then James Harden is one-on-one with Jokic staring him down in the face and saying, I'm taking over right now. This is what I'm doing. He's going with Nuggets. What's going to happen when James Harden's in that pick and roll and Zubac starts to roll and Christian Brown is trailing and Harden throws that lob or he baits Jokic and hits that mid-range, and that's how Chris Paul averaged 26 and 10 against the Joker. What's going to happen? The Nuggets defense has been so bad this year, 22nd in defensive rating.
James Harden coming out party,
This is not
14 years later.
This is not the same Nuggets defense that went on a run and won the NBA championship. This is a vulnerable Denver defense that lacks point of attack defense, going up against one of the best pick and roll ball handlers in the history of the NBA. And then Kawhi Leonard, his isolation scoring. It doesn't matter if Aaron Gordon is on him. You could throw Herb Jones on him, Tumani Kamara.
Like
you could throw him Lou Dort. It doesn't matter. Kawhi Leonard's gonna average 30 in this series because he's just that good. And
he's averaging 30 and 10.
He's going to average 30 in this series. I think the Clippers are the better team. I think the Nuggets have the better player, but the Clippers are second in defensive rating. Zubac over the last 2 years has held Jokic to 35.6% from the field, and they have one of the best perimeter defenders in the league in Chris Dunn, who's going to be matched up on Jamal Murray.
Oh, yeah.
Chris Dunn, they should. They should.
I think they'll be more likely to guard Derek Jones.
But they have two players. They have two players at all times that will always be able to guard Jamal in Derrick Jones Jr. and Chris Dunn in those lineups that they're in the game. And also,
the Joker will be guarding
Bogdan Bogdanovic off the bench, his shooting. You have Nicholas Batum off the bench too. I think the Clippers have a lot of lineup versatility. They don't really have a backup big, and that's going to be their Achilles heel. But Denver's bench, I'm not fearful of. I think the Clippers have a better defense. They have a better bench. Their play style is a hell matchup for the Nuggets defense and trying to guard them. It's going to be a lot of movement, a lot of rotations. And David Adelman has been undefeated as the Nuggets head coach. And he plays the best players depending on how they're playing. But when you look at Denver and the ability to leave so many players open offensively, whether it's Aaron Gordon, even though he's shooting a career high from three, but you're still going to test him out there. Christian Brown, Russell Westbrook when he's in the game. I just think that Denver doesn't have enough. And I've seen too many instances this year where Jokic has a 60-point triple-double and they still lose. He has a great game. He's had
$65 million in that game.
He's had a historic offensive season, and they still lose games to the Washington Wizards.
I really don't like when you use them losing as like a discredit to Jokic when they're second and third best players. Both
I'm not saying it's a discredit to Jokic. I'm just saying
there's flaws.
It's a discredit to the team.
You're using that as a point when their second and third best players are making 35.
I'm using it as a point to discredit the team that I don't think is that good around Jokic.
No matter what.
That's like the Celtics without Jaylen Brown and Kristaps Porzingis. It's not the same team if they're both
They're
out.
great without Jaylen Brown.
We beat the Hornets with nobody playing. That's kind of the same thing,
They beat the Blazers and Derek White and Cam Bridges both went for 40.
That's that's the loss versus Minnesota. It's a 50-win team. It's not the Hornets who are a 3-win team.
No, what about the Wizards more than that?
Johnny boy, I got the Clippers in 6. I think they are a better team. If you want to sell me on the fact, and I feel like whenever we talk about the Clippers, people pick Denver. Like I was talking to my friend Jack earlier, and he was like, "Yeah, I'm going with Denver because Kawhi, I can't trust his health." If you're gonna give me one of those reasons, now I understand basketball reasons. Looking at how these two teams match up, the Clippers are just a better team, and they've been playing like the second best team in the West for a while.
They said that in 2022.
Yeah, I think the Clippers, especially their injury thing, is interesting because you say it all year long, and me included, like they're not going to be healthy, and it's April 17th, and the playoffs are 2 days away. And it's like, they're healthy. Like Kawhi's good, Harden's good, Zoo's good. All these dudes that you're relying on to be healthy are going to be playing. So like, yeah, if the argument's, I can't trust Kawhi. Well, like, yeah, if Kawhi goes down in Game 3, they got no chance. The series is going to be over. If James Harden, pulls a hamstring in Game 2, yeah, it's going to be a really tough series. But I'm going into this expecting that everyone on both teams are going to be healthy, especially since Kawhi missed such a large portion of the start of the regular season. It's looking like maybe that was a blessing in disguise, the fact that they were able to, survive that. I think a couple things. Number one, I'm going to be interested to see how much Russell Westbrook plays because one of the, key reasons, I guess if you want to say that.
Jalen Pickett minutes.
One of the key reasons why Mike Malone got let go is because of how much he leaned on and trusted Russell Westbrook. This is a guy that was averaging 28 to 30 minutes a night, was getting some spot starts, but since Mike Malone got fired, he went from averaging 28 to 30 to now averaging around 20 minutes, right? He already has multiple games.
He fucks up, he gets out.
When he has multiple games under 20 minutes, since Mike Malone has gotten fired. So just one thing to take note of, but Denver, I think they got a couple things going against them. Number one, the vibes are off, man. I think the vibes are pretty terrible right now in Denver. Nikola Jokic, of course, I don't think he exactly agreed on firing Mike Malone, even though he didn't go out there and say one way or the other, like, I need Malone or I want him gone. I think he liked Mike Malone. I think overall, just to fire a coach that late into the season, a coach that won you the championship just 2 years ago, a coach that is respected around the league as probably one of the 10 best coaches. I think the vibes, number one, are just pretty off in Denver, and to go into this tough of a series with kind of some question marks, just not basketball related, I think are never a good sign. And number two, I don't think they have the better team in this series. I think the Clippers have shown since Kawhi Leonard has been healthy and really the last month and a half, 2 months since he's gotten his legs under him, is that this is a guy that looks like vintage Kawhi. Like he's averaging 27. He was averaging 27 in March on insane efficiency and was looking like the robot that we had seen him, for multiple years when he's been healthy. And when I look at Denver,
I can't do it.
This team it's not good enough right now. Like this team is not good enough to go against this Clippers team and beat them in a 7-game series. I think when you have Jamal Murray being your number 2 in 2023, it was fantastic. He had an all-time playoff run as a Robin when he went out there, and averaged a double-double in the NBA Finals, and he was going, we're going into that next season like, is he the best Robin in the NBA? But we're 2 years removed from that. And now it's clearly that he is not the best Robin in the NBA. He might not be even a top 5 or top 10 Robin in the NBA because he has so many injuries and just inconsistent play. And then you look at the Clippers, what they're able to do to match up against the Denver Nuggets. I think you make the argument that out of all of the teams that Denver could have played in the first round, the Clippers might be the one team they want to avoid. Because although Jokic is going to get his, Zubac has done a great job historically, especially over these last couple of years. I saw Carson's tweet. Decent man, that Carson guy, decent guy, who does a great job guarding him one-on-one, holding him to a sub 40% field goal percentage. You have multiple guys that can go out there and guard Jamal Murray. Now it's like, all right, you're not taking Jokic out the picture, but you're going to make it difficult on him. More than shit we've seen Anthony Davis do over the last couple of years. You're going to make life difficult on Jamal Murray because you have multiple guys that if Chris Dunn had the minutes requirement, he probably would have been an all-defensive type guy. Derrick Jones Jr. is, of course, one of the better perimeter defenders in the NBA as well. So now I'm like, all right, Denver, it's on the role players. And you look around those role players, it's like, this doesn't feel like a series where those role players are going to step up and be someone that they kind of not been, right? Like, I agree with you, John. I think Aaron Gordon does get disrespected. He's been a great three-point shooter this year. But would it surprise me if he shot 32% from 3 this series? No, not at all. I think Christian Brown's a really good player. It's one of my favorite players in the league. I love the way he plays the game the right way. But if that's like oh shit, we got Christian Brown, like this is the guy that's going to tip the series, I just disagree. I think I think the Clippers have the better role players. I think they have the better defense. I think they have the better head coach. Of course, you got Nikola Jokic. You're not going to count them out. I think this is a 6-7 game series. I got the Clippers winning that series. But I think this is going to be the most competitive series still. Even with all the advantages that the Clippers do have in my head, I still feel like Nikola Jokic maybe being a bit disrespected because the Clippers, I believe, are the favorites, or maybe it's a pick 'em right now going into this when we were to talk a couple months ago like, oh yeah, Denver's got this easy.
It's definitely a pick 'em. I get both sides. I get Denver right now.
Just having the better player.
Yeah, the vibes are definitely off.
Team,
but they're 3-0
in Denver.
Allen, come on.
Yeah, the vibes are off for sure, but they do have the best player in the series, and we know we have the best player in the series. It does help you a ton, and certain guys could will you a series, But Kawhi's at a different level right now. Harden's at a different level right now. Clippers play at an isolation rate. They play to their strengths. I think there's a lot of guys on Denver that Kawhi and Harden will be able to pick apart. I don't like certain Clipper lineups, though. I think certain Clipper lineups are going to be favorable to Denver in terms of them being able to guard. Because a lot of those Clipper lineups really suck offensively and put Kawhi or Harden in bad positions. And I think Denver will be able to feast off that where their defense won't be able to get chewed up a ton. But the coaching experience, I think Ty Lue comfortably clears whoever that guy is on Denver. I don't even know bro's name. Yeah, him.
David Allen.
Ty Lue comfortably clears him. So and he's one of the best playoff coaches in basketball. So that's something extremely important. Also, I think Zubac is a better defender against the Joker than Rudy Gobert because he has the size. He has the physical size. He's a lot stronger, a lot bigger, a lot bulkier.
Better than AD too.
Yeah, exactly. He's probably the same size as the Joker physically. So he has that same build. And plus, Zubac has been a great player this year. He's been one of the 30 best players in the league this year.
And that's where, you mentioned Harden, and if he struggles, which is a possibility.
He could struggle.
His history has shown that he can struggle in the playoffs.
Yeah, we know.
If he struggles, you better watch it. If he does struggle, Zubac has ascended to an awesome level player that you can run offense through. He's one of the most efficient post-up players in the league. So
he's a pick and roll threat, which is a big key with Harden and him kind of pulling Jokic out the paint. And Jokic wants to play high up. He's not going to try to drop. So if you're rising him up, it allows those different bounds.
But even if you get a switch, if anybody is on Zubac not named Jokic in the post, it's an easy back down in 2 points.
I think Powell and shit.
Yeah, Norman Powell also
and
isolation against FPJ.
All those guys are
Bogdan's a liability on defense, so could be something you take advantage of.
So that's why I feel like Harden can struggle, but they have enough parts to where if Harden struggles, I don't think it's make or break for them. I think they can still win.
If they played them Ben Simmons, Derrick Jones,
I don't think Harden's got to go out there and dominate in this series.
Please,
you're good. If you see Ben Simmons, Derrick Jones Jr.
I don't know if he touches the floor in non-garbage time.
Shit, Denver's good.
Ty Lue has to remind Ben Simmons to shoot.
You can't remind a man to do something he won't do.
That's what he said. He said sometimes I have to remind him.
That's a grown man.
He went from being one of the most fluid athletes of all time.
He had a layup.
He moves like he has a metal rod.
He had a layup against the Warriors. He
has had a lot of back injuries.
That's why.
So get into more of your reasoning.
Denver, by the way.
Oh, you have Denver. You don't have the
Oh no,
Clippers.
shit! I'm
I was
sorry.
gonna say,
sorry, drunk.
you've been
I
Clippers
got Clippers.
Nation, yeah.
I got Clippers.
Clippers in what? How many games?
6, 7.
6
Yeah, I
games.
think the only Clippers win this series.
Tugging on my bar. I mean,
No, they're better than you guys. I'm sorry.
3v2.
tugging on my balls.
Yeah,
man.
Drew's got Denver.
Yeah, 3
right?
people here have the Clippers. 2 people have the Denver Nuggets.
It's like the only reason, and I don't mean to sound like a dick, but the only reason to pick Denver is because, one, they have the best player in the world, which is a valid reason.
That's like the only reason.
But number 2, you don't think Kawhi's going to finish the series. And if you don't think he's going to finish the series, cool. Like, it's happened before a lot, actually. But if you think he's healthy and fully loaded, there's no reason why right now you should pick Denver over the Clippers.